The Fully Geek. Welcome to the Fully Geek podcast, and we have a special guest today. I know usually you guys see Nate starting the podcast, but you've got me today. And like I said, we've got a special guest, director, producer, and writer. Alex, welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Thanks. Good. What's up? Yep.
Yeah, no, honestly, really, thank you very much for coming on today.
The opportunity is mine for sure.
Oh yeah, honestly, obviously, guys who are listening, right? So obviously, we've got a weekly podcast and we've got Instagram, and we follow so much people who are producers, directors, writers, and we've seen loads of stuff out there. And obviously, when seeing your stuff, I was like, okay, wow, I had to get you on to understand everything about you and everything about your up and coming project. So, guys, for the ones who don't know, up and coming project called Sex Before Church. When I saw the title, first of all, I was like, okay, I don't mind Sex Before Church. I was like, okay, perfect. But before we get into it, Alex, I want you to kind of tell the people about yourself, your background. So literally, let us know who you are and where you're from and everything else.
Yeah, well, the full name is Alex Borchescu. Might be hard to pronounce. Don't try it, maybe. Was born in Romania, unfortunately. That's a joke I do, but yeah, whatever. I studied in England, filmmaking, not at a top university in Nottingham. The main part of the film was shot in Greece, Athens, where I'm currently in. And the last part of the film, which I like to describe it as its own separate short film, was shot actually back in my hometown in Romania. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Like, should I go with how my passion started, or let me know?
I know because it'd be kind of good because. So is this going to be your first film then? In that sense,
it's my first. It's a feature film, and it's my first film. Like, one of my main principles when it comes to art in general is do what you feel like doing. And I always had like this aversion to short films because I kept watching them, I kept seeing and talking with people making them, and they never go anyways. Like, you probably know that saying about shorts that they die at birth. Like, they don't have impact, So I was like, why should I do that? I also got a little lucky with business, so I was fortunate enough to be able to have like the funds to make a feature. So I just went for it. I just felt like doing this film, and it just happened to be a feature film.
So you just touched on something about funds, because I know a lot of producers trying to get work started and having to raise money and starting projects, unable to finish projects, because that's a really important thing for up and coming kind of filmmakers, right? It's all about the budget.
Well, a first piece of unsolicited advice would be to do what you can. Don't expect for help. Even now, at the very end of my project, I deep into post-production. I still there's no one who wants to get involved. Even though I get only good reviews. I have a rough cut that went around to some producer. They'll like it. I will even tell you something more. I had like a producer in Bucharest, Romania, and he started showing the films. Like, he tried to get an investor, and he started showing the film to other producers. And he had like 3 or 4 in-person meetings in which they just watch the films. The producer is always out, but in some of those cases, they came with their editor. and the editor was always in. So the art people want to get in, but producers just care about what's the name in the film and what was the other big thing. The genre, if it's something easy to market.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Don't expect help. Yeah.
Just kind of, you've got to do it all. If help comes, fundamentally, then great. If it does, but you have to kind of pick this up and run with it yourself. Don't depend on anyone.
Especially when it comes to finances, because after all, I'm not saying that I start to understand how the business of filmmaking goes, and it's just right. I mean, they are there to make money, so they have some criteria, like what's the name, how for how much can we sell it, this is the price. They don't care if the cinematography is great, the art is great. If the names are not there, they're just not gonna, they just don't see the art, and that's their job, that's the role. So it's a fair game.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And the fact that you wrote, directed, and produced it, now that must have been intense from your perspective, right?
Oh my God, could write at least a short book about it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, fantastic. So what we'll do now, we go into the trailer.
Sure.
To get everyone to see what we're talking about, Sex Before Church. The trailer is in Kickstarter. Of course, I'll put the link on the screen, and I'll put the link in the description on YouTube and everywhere else. So let's just get into it. And what I'll do, I'll just start to share my screen, and everyone has a visual.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I can mention that, as I said, not expecting help, so I just decided to take things in my own hands and gather around like a very good team of volunteers. And well, this is basically what our trick to get through the costs of post-production. The film is all shot, everything is shot, even have like a rough cut and some parts of post-production done. But this is what I'm waiting for, to see if I can get some kind of funding to to cover the whole post-production. So yeah, now you guys are seeing like the Kickstarter, and yeah, let's go into the trailer first.
Fantastic.
How come you don't smile?
Only funny jokes and beautiful girls make me smile. I don't even know your name.
You never asked.
Maybe I want to try and guess it.
Well, go ahead then.
Sarah?
Oh, dear friend of mine, I told you when we first met that I would like to be your friend, play together, take pictures, watch films. Love you, I do, my beautiful sister. Sister, not wife.
I guess you could call me a completionist.
I guess I could call you a nut.
I just want to go one more time.
You think you're the only one who found love and lost it? You think only your suffering is real and the rest of us were just pretending?
Staring down from my tower, I wonder, how come none of the burning people passing by are screaming in pain? They don't want to feel that the apocalypse is here. They must be blind, ignorant animals moving in circles. They must be robbed of all their senses. Make them see that the apocalypse is not a biblical or physical one. The apocalypse is here in form of corruption. The apocalypse is here.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let me just stop sharing my screen and then come back to me and you. There's so much that with that trailer, I've watched it. I don't know how many times I've watched it. I'm over 10 times, right? And I'm like, okay, this trailer is absolute quality. But before I talk about the quality of the trailer and the actors of it, just watching the trailer, I assumed that obviously it is a part of a love story. And and it obviously for 1 minute 49 seconds, part of a love story, and I thought, okay, because I didn't expect when I start sawing the dancing and the blood, I was just like, and when he got onto the microphone and he was speaking, I was like, oh wow, this is going to be some kind of form of scary stuff, and how deep it actually goes. So about the trailer. So, these actors that you've kind of got together. So how did you cast these actors? What is the process that you kind of followed?
Yeah, so about casting, I again just this wish to make this film came about, and it kept pressing. So quickly it turned into a script, and I think I'm gonna keep doing this from on forwards if I get the privilege to make more films. But I always feel the need to attach a face to the script and to the characters, because even just the same, like I feel the need to see the locations before before shooting. So as I want to kind of tailor the script by the actual actors behind the characters and by their characteristics, physical and emotional and whatever. So I started the casting process even literally before I had a first draft. The story, I write a little bit about it in the Kickstarter. I saw Niels Nadolny. Niels Nadolny is the actor, the main actor, the male actor.
Yeah.
He's German from Berlin. And I posted a casting announcement on one of the European casting websites. And right after I saw his profile, but it was like very late at night, so I decided not to message him, to message the next morning. But actually, during the night, he messaged me because he saw my my casting call, and
Fantastic.
it's just I just couldn't. The film, the first day of shooting was 1 year after that. Like that there's like a whole story there with moving countries from Spain to Greece and all that. But yeah, I just couldn't find. He just fit right in from the get go. It's not the same story with Sarah. That's the name of the female character in the film. The actor behind the character is Josephine Winkler, and we found her literally a month and a half before the shooting, so complete opposite. But again, she fit right in. Like I wanted this very young, funny, quirky actor.
And definitely I can tell. And even though that clip is only like 1 minute 49 seconds, I can when you can already feel the characters, how intense it is, and their connection with the actual within that short trailer. I know you put it's a writer using poems to exercise his demons, so to me, that means kind of so much. I'm like, I'm so intrigued to find out kind of what happens and when the next stages are for this film when it actually comes out. Is there a particular date that you kind of plan to kind of put the film out, or what's the plan?
So again, the film is already shot. I have a rough cut. We started some post-production, but the funding is not there. So if this Kickstarter goes through, the film will hit like the film festival circuit and whatnot in about 2 months. If not, I'm not sure. So we'll see. But yeah, that's basically the plan. I had like a 1.5 hour crash course, we can call it, with a British distributor, ex-distributor, let's call him. And he said to go straight into post-production, but I don't know. I kind of want to hit the film festival circuit. I mean, my whole goal here is not, I'm not motivated by financial gains. I just want to get the contact and funding to make my next film. That's all I am about, So whatever leads to that. But yeah, I think festivals. Hopefully, I can get a producer or someone attached to with some experience or some contacts to the film, and he can help me strategize like what's the best way to go about launching it, to hit the festival circuit or to already look into distribution. Like we'll see.
And people don't realize how much goes into this. People think these films, are just simply put together and there's no stress at all. And I know we previously said, as you've you directed, produced, wrote the whole thing, how intense was it, and how long has it taken you to kind of film this film itself?
Well, the thing is that you're not realizing you're basically in a Mission Impossible episode when you start making a film. I mean, my position was when I started making this. I'm 27 now. 3 years ago, I was 24 when I started pushing to find a filming crew and whatnot. And I was, in my mind, I had a good chunk of money. I was hoping that I can get some more and a producer and a filming crew involved. We tried first in Barcelona to scout for it with no luck. And then this female actor came to cast from Athens for the role of Sarah. And she said that, hey, if you guys don't have luck here, you can come in Athens. And she's like kind of big here in the theater scene. I have some contacts. Maybe we can do something. So I just, gave up on Barcelona. I came here. And yeah, she just ghosted me. She made me move countries, and then she just didn't respond. But to be fair, I think she had some personal problems. She said so I believe her. It's just funny to say so, like no hard feelings, whatever.
Yeah.
Then came some film attempts to make a filming crew. Like I got an AD, then he got a job working for a big director. I got a DOP, but then he got a lucrative deal to make commercials for whatever. So it kept falling apart. And then it just out of nowhere, just from thin air, you contact a person, and that person knows the DOP, and the DOP knows the production manager, and it just everything materialized like that in a week. Like had a full team and all that. Yeah.
Oh wow. And this is the thing. Like even people listening to all this, right? People don't realize, you are giving away a lot of information where people don't realize how much work goes into it, because again, like I said before, people would just put the TV on and just watch a film or go cinema and watch a film, but there's so much work behind it. And just before I move on, I was going to say, so where do your stories usually come from? How have you based this? How does it work?
This one is very, very much deeply personal. I mean, the main character, the guy, doesn't have a name, but in the script he's called A. My name is Alex, so you can guess who that is. Okay. So yeah, the story is deeply personal. So it just came from a live episode, let's call it, that happened like about a year something before coming out with the story and all that. So for me, it's not a story, but obviously maybe not a good time to get into the personal stuff. So
yeah.
So yeah, this one is personal. I have 8 other drafts of scripts. They all have common elements. You also know that common saying that every director keeps making the same film, just repackaged. Yeah. I still have common elements, but the next one I start to get detached from like the personal stuff and
because that was one of my questions. How do you balance your writing for yourself versus writing for an audience? Because that must be difficult, right? Especially when stuff are, like you said, a bit personal to your life story, just like a musician, like someone who's singing, because a lot of the times they write about their past history, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean that's just the most basic method. In order to write something with weight, you need to have the personal experience behind it. So if I'm gonna try to write a Spike Lee film, obviously it's gonna come up as fake. That's that's the thing. I'm an Eastern European guy or whatever. And what I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, it's personal on such a level that you mentioned, like it's about a tortured poet exercising his demons to poetry, whatever. It actually has my original poetry in it. So again, I'm literally the poet. The poetry is mine, original poetry, which is let's make this a thing. Maybe second unsolicited advice: work with what we have. When you're a filmmaker, you know, I had like this already, like these 20 good poems. So just decided to work that into the film, and I got this unique, cool element. And for those who are interested, I'm gonna the book. So the guy in the basic narrative, I keep calling him the guy because he doesn't really have a name, is him launching a book, and he has like this partnership with the painter, with the young female painter, to make some drawings to include in the book. And that book actually exists. I want to launch it together with the film, which is first part is poetry, includes also the poetry in the film, from the film, and the second part is like about 200 pages of philosophical essays that is basically the whole representation of all the concepts in the film. And for anyone who's interested, they can find it in the Kickstarter. Like I'm offering a copy as a reward, one of the rewards.
Oh, fantastic! I will definitely touch base with you, and definitely want to have a copy of that book without a doubt. And you also, because I know you mentioned while you were making the film, you had a specific actor, you had a look. Because one of the questions I had, that do you write for specific actors and visuals in mind? And you've kind of touched on that briefly, haven't you?
Yeah. So the answer to that is I don't have that problem. I don't. I don't completely understand your question, but I'm not trying to put my writing in a box, or I don't have criteria or anything like that. Like, whatever comes out, and that's another one of my principles of making art. Like whatever comes out, comes out. Otherwise, huge risk and almost guaranteed that is gonna come out as fake. So yeah.
Okay. So when you process, when you're going through the process of working with actors, do you give them freedom, or do you kind of prefer to be strict in direction? So go ahead.
I'm quite the micromanager, especially when it comes to lines and stuff. And I knew what I wanted, but if I would have to have like the flexibility of a decent budget and all that, so we don't have to rush. Like if I could go Kubrick style and get 250 takes of every shot, then I will for sure give them like, I would tell them at the end, guys, 10 shots, like whatever you like. Fincher or whoever is, I think he has like a saying that goes something like, okay, now one for the camera and one for the actors. So the actors can do whatever, and one whatever looks best on camera or something like that. So I would like to do that, to get what I want, and then also give them freedom. But in this case, again, because you can take 20 takes of every shot, I had to be quite specific and know what I'm going for. But otherwise, we had a full month. Like Josephine and Niels came in Athens 1 month or even a little more before shooting, and had a full month of rehearsals, and we tried things and all that. So yeah.
Oh wow! So what challenges did you have, while directing it, and how did you handle it?
I didn't had too many challenges because of the crew. So they assured to again, I was the guy with the least amount of experience from the crew by very far. Otherwise, like everybody had full feature film experience, basically except me. So they handle everything. The AD worked together perfectly with the director of photography and the production manager, who made sure we can get all the shots, go to all the locations, do all the setups. So it was basically, I literally can imagine getting lucking out more Yeah, they just took everything from my mind. Well, except like the producer part, like I still had to make the payments and all that, so I still had that going in the weekends. But and obviously to make some decisions, and obviously there were stress and challenges, but yeah, I couldn't make, also to expand more on one of your previous questions about challenges. It's oh yeah, like you asked, like how difficult it is to make a film, and what people don't see. And the thing is, okay, you have all the 20 things that you have to build, like from photography to equipment to schedule to costumes to acting, directing, everything. The thing is that that's not that hard, because you have post-production, you can arrange that, schedule that, put everything in order. I mean, pre-production, a mistake there. In pre-production, you can arrange all that. The thing is that they all have to go to work together, like a well-oiled machine, you know, in the shooting period. So that's the most complicated part, and that's what I mean by locking out, like the professional, the professional attitude and seriousness and dedication of everyone. You know, made it all go very, just best case.
Yeah, because one of my questions is like how keeping the cast and crew motivated, on tough days, because like you said, there's times where you had to do how many shots in a day, and everyone's like, I'm tired, I just want to eat, I just want to sleep. So that must be really tough, right?
I mean, these are professionals, so actually they had to keep me motivated many times, because yeah, we had like this beach scene, and which I demanded that I want a beach fire in Greece. In Greece, many people don't know, they have forest fires all the time. It's illegal to turn on any outside fire. It's straight to jail.
Oh wow.
So I was assured that we're gonna have some kind of fire. Then ended up on that day that I was denied my fire. So I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna direct or something. I was just like, okay, you guys shoot it. And in a way that makes me sound like the biggest a-hole. But I kind of felt that this is not gonna end up in the film, and guess what? It didn't. It had no place. It didn't.
Really?
I was gonna cut it anyways. And obviously, I'm not gonna try to be like, oh, I'm the filmmaking Nostradamus, but it just. I knew, I saw the set design, and I knew this is not my film. I knew this is not going in the film. And I would just, again, the 100 time going locking out. It really didn't fit the film. The pace, it just much better to cut it out. So yeah.
So that's interesting, knowing that you wasn't even going to put it in the film. So that again, that kind of wasted. Was that an extra day or two, or?
Yeah, I think it was a full day or half a day. The beach was like about an hour and a half far away. Yeah, but that's quite normal. Like we know whole entire sections of films get cut out. This is just one of the. It can be just one of the reasons. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
So it's not that unusual. I just felt that this is gonna be one of those cases. That's all.
Yeah, fantastic. So, and like I said, it took you guys a month to cut. How many months did it take you to film the actual whole film?
So, principal photography was 21 days, I think. 21 days here in Greece, and then you saw like the stuff with the kids at the very end of the teaser with the hills and all that. So I ran out of funds. So it's not I ran out of funds. I went deeply in depth to finish those 21 days. It was a horror show. So I had to regroup mentally and everything. And so I didn't have an ending to the film, which again, very, very lucky with that. And I ended up filming that end with the kids in my hometown in Romania. Like I went back to Romania and all that. I couldn't even afford to pay rent after getting completely broke in the first stage. And filmed that the stuff with the kids a whole year after that. And why I was lucky, because it's zero continuity. Like I didn't need any of the actors, any of the sets, any of the locations. again, I think I mentioned this before. I like to think about it as its own separate short film, and people are gonna see the film. They're gonna see like it's completely different on a different camera. So it worked. It couldn't have worked better because this way. Again, I wanted to get like a completely different look for the whole of it. Actors, locations, feel, everything. And this way I got everything completely changed. Like the aesthetic is different, locations, camera, technical is different. So again, best case for me. And there's literally, I always wanted kids in a forest to have like this idyllic afterlife, heaven-like paradise. Paradise film, and there's literally no forests in Athens because they all burned. So literally couldn't get a decent, 20 a tree older than 10 years, this. So yeah, it's just again another very good just timing or whatever you want to call it.
And also you mentioned about having to move back to Romania because of funds, like budget constraints. How difficult, because you're spending a lot of money on a short film, and the people are not realizing these funds are coming from yourself, and how the struggle is real that you had to go back to Romania because, like, obviously Romania's back home, right? So it's a case of having to go and stay back with family and kind of rebuilding yourself again, gaining more money, then being able to finish shots and everything else. So that must have been really, really tough, especially it must have felt kind of like, really frustrating where you're so close, but now it's like you're so far away because funding is now low and you're struggling to kind of pay rent and everything else.
I don't want to be, overly dramatic. Again, it worked for me. And the ending with the kids, again, it was just 2 kids in a forest. And going back home, I had like the community support. So, didn't pay much for locations. The filming crew was not that expensive. So it worked. Even when it comes to budget, it worked in my advantage. So I can say I was in that situation. I wasn't one of these horror stories. I heard many horror stories that, I'm stuck in post-production or I still need more shooting days. And it's been 8 years since the start of the film. I don't have that experience, but people don't have empathy when it comes to the producer, in which this case is the director and everything else. So that was very frustrating because everyone else was this was one of my main problems at the end of the first principal photography in Greece, because everybody demanded to be paid at the same day at once in cash. Like, what? I can't do that. Like, guys, I'm not Netflix, So they kept oscillating between the director and the producer, and they kept seeing me as this infinite money well that can just spawn money from thin air, And because I was like, that's not logistically possible, guys. They kept, getting suspicious and all that, which again, fair to them. They had many horror stories of not getting paid. That's also a common type of horror story in the filmmaking. But that's frustrating, and that's why maybe the main reason why I wouldn't produce my next film alone. Like, I don't want that pressure and to have those negotiations and material talks and contracts and all that, and people not understanding that I'm just a person, a 25, 24-year-old person back then who you put all this pressure on. But again, fair play. It's all part of the game, I guess.
Like just saying everybody wants the money on the same day and wants it in cash. That must have been absolutely. I'm surprised you're not gray, because that must have been a stressful period in your life. Totally. And like you said, being at the age of 24, like at 24 years old, I wasn't even thinking about making a movie or getting into film or, of course I used to watch TV, but the fact that you decided to kind of get into it and make moves by going to different countries is absolutely fantastic. And definitely, and people should be, you're probably an inspiration to a lot of people. You might see yourself as a, just someone now coming in, but like people to hear your story, must feel, wow, yes, it's hard, but they can also do it.
Well, I actually had an idea based on this, because I have like a Discord community, and since the last year I built a community. Again, the teaser that we just watched was made by a volunteer. Josh, a fellow filmmaker from America. So yeah, it was just a volunteer effort. But yeah, I talk with these people who, lots of them are, some of them are also like really, really young, and many of them see the value. And I kind of I always was like a good teacher. So another, I don't know why it's shameless plug, I guess, but part of the rewards in the Kickstarter, and I'm fully transparent. This is not whatever again, but I guess you have to call it a plug. I'm want to start like a mentorship that not only counts with one-on-one meetings with me, in which I can take your seed idea to a script, and then we go to shooting. Like I can assist you for the whole process to my experience. I'm also doing like quite a unique thing, and I'm already kind of thinking thinking it's a good business move. I'm kind of selling stock into my next film through, like, if you get into the mentorship, you get an actual all paid production role, all expenses paid production role in the next film. So not only I'm going to assist them with the experience, with my experience, and through just theory and whatnot, I'm also going to like guaranteeing an actual hands-on, all expenses paid, on set, on experience. So that's one way.
Wow.
I look to organize all this, and to have like, I don't know, 12 people that I keep in a close circle, and I try to push them. Most of them I already have 2 or 3. One of them is not confirmed yet, and yeah, I think I can, I think it's a no-brainer deal when it comes to what the deal is about.
And that's fantastic, because as you know, a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, don't often share the knowledge. And we see that quite a lot of people, people like to withhold as much information to make them feel so important. But here's you being a mentor, offering services out there and helping a younger generation get into the industry and sharing your knowledge. That's absolutely fantastic.
I don't consider myself part of the industry yet. I guess after, if I get a distribution deal or something, like I still don't have, I don't have like an official attachment with a producer or something. But I haven't thought about it too much, but I never had the feel of like withholding information. Like, again, it was a big surprise. I know what you're saying, because literally yesterday I had again this meeting with a distributor, an ex-distributor who got out because of this whole annoying things when it comes to the industry. And I felt that this is the first time, almost like the first time, talking with actual real person from the industry. Like, he actually laid it out like it is. And I felt like that's for the first time. But I know, so I know what you're saying. I know that many people who I talk with do that. I don't really get it. Are supposed to collaborate? Perfect story. Like, I want to get a song in my film right now. Not gonna mention the band, whatever. The band market themselves as, we never had a distribution deal. We're not in the industry. We're fully independent. Our catalog is owned by us. Like, they're fully independent, just like me. And I messaged them. I messaged them about the film, and they go, I tell them, hey guys, I'm completely independent. We're basically made of the same cloth, same position. Can I get a song, or can I, get it for now and then figure out a monetary deal after? And they were, and they still refuse. Then, so what's the point of being completely independent then? Like, what are we doing here? Like, aren't we supposed to be in the same team? Like, why are you completely not market? They actually are real independent, to give them credit. But what's the point then, if you're gonna act and be as gatekeepish as the other industry people? So I don't get why people don't work together, and why it's so hard to work together. But it's whatever.
And this is the thing. This is the massive problem. People think, because people either think you're there to rip them off, or some sort. And this is the thing. Like myself, I used to make a lot of music when I was younger. I've kind of stopped making some of my music. I still do it because it's always what I've always known. But again, getting music into kind of into films, into TV shows, you know, it's like they've got selected people and who they want to work with, and they say, even though your production is maybe better than someone else's production, there's like a little silo where they kind of stick to the same audience of individuals and won't, like you said, the gatekeeping, they won't let anyone else in. But like you said, everyone should be helping everyone. But I think it's also is down to kind of past experiences as well. People, like you said, someone who previously left the industry, because it's the experience, what they've experienced, and how frustrated they have actually been with the whole industry. And it's like, I've dedicated my life, you know, trying to make a film or make music, and I'm not getting anywhere because no one's allowing me in. And it
And
frustrating.
the guy said, he literally said that the only industry worse than the filmmaking one is the music one. So yeah, now he's working like on a big show. I don't want to call it, I don't know, just to maybe doesn't want to be out there. But yeah, again, I understand all these games. You know, this is the game, you need to play it. They are kind of like the ants that found the piece of cake first. So obviously they don't want the other ants to come in. It's just basic logic. But it's more that there many people are weak and they call themselves artists, but then they always, like this first director of photography of mine, we had all said that the team looks that it was forming, and he was just like actually I'm just gonna go film some commercials for whatever company, you know. So okay, so you are a filmmaker or what's up? People, you know, the temptation is there. And again, fair game, I understand it, like money, yeah, we pay rent, all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining because he ended up working 10 times better. I got 10 times better with full feature film experience, director of photography who was just much more experienced. And yeah, so I for sure, again, it worked for me, but for many people that I'm sure that's very demotivating.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, totally demotivating. So just coming on to the last few questions now. So what changes have you noticed in the film industry over the last few years?
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I mean, this gatekeeping stuff looks like it's breaking down. Looks like the industry is shifting. With the politics are kind of dying out, like the actual, you know, representation of forced politics in films, which is good. It looks like we are kind of shifting more towards actual art, so that's good. But I think we are, if we are in the middle of the pendulum swing, we are just, the pendulum just started to move. So I don't know if it's gonna, I mean, the Oscars, you know, lost all credibility. They have like 2% of the audience that they had 15 years ago because of obvious reasons. So yeah, it looks like people are choosing. A24 is a thing, even though now they kind of are really mainstream. So it's still, there's still very, 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 very few original voices, like Ari Aster, I guess, whatever. But there's very few people like that. I don't know. There's no, I don't know, 70s, 80s with the French New Wave and those like who how do you, the famous, there's like a couple famous directors from New York, whatever. Like there was lots of independent effort that was just amazing, and it just led to new ideas, new things, new waves of cinema. And now there's not really that. And even like this art house directors like Gaspar Noé, Lars von Trier, and so on. They all are. Gaspar Noé is still active, but Lars von Trier has like big medical problems and stuff like that. So there's not really anyone active. There's too much mainstream stuff. But the discussion can be infinite. Like the AI is also part of it. So yeah, we'll see where things goes when it comes to art in general. But there's some good signs, but there's also lots of bad premonitions or whatever you want to call them.
And you just touched on AI and how AI is transforming the industry from filmmaking to music in general. It's like, was there any form of AI to help you kind of put this film together, or
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
Right.
No AI. My thing with AI is let it in. Like we already have CGI, who's literally computer generated images. So we
Yeah.
already have AI. It's just that this actual form of AI is like basically free and about 10,000 times faster. So we already have the AI, like Lord of the Rings original trilogy, almost very little AI or whatever. It was very much focused on practical effects, and we saw the effect that it had on the Hobbit. That even there's like maybe it's a fixture or whatever, but Ian, I forgot the name of the actor who's playing Gandalf. There's that picture of him in the middle of a whole green screen set, and he looks like he's very sad and crying. So it doesn't look like it's gonna actually replace art. Like it doesn't have that capability. It can just enhance it, cut costs. Like I want in this film, I'm gonna use CGI to mask a guy that's way in the background that I don't want it here. Like I'm gonna touch the film in like 3-4 shots, but otherwise I don't see as a threat. I see. Again, it's very complex. The thing is that what about the people and the new generation that are raised on TikTok on AI? The thing is that they won't be able, their brain is literally not equipped to make the difference between art and AI. So now they're going to grow up, and they're going to go to a cinema. They're going to go, this is too hard to watch. This is too real. I want to watch some computer generated stuff. So art might die out in that way, that people are literally not going to be able to recognize it anymore. But again, not very scared about that, because if it's going to happen, it needs like about 150 more years. So
no, totally. And just touching on CGI, I've watched loads of films, right? And some CGI is fantastic, and some CGI is absolutely awful. And the cost within CGI, how significant is the cost within CGI? Because I'm a Marvel, really big Marvel fan, right? And when I watch Marvel films, not of recent, of previous, the CGI has been fantastic. But when I look at a lot of DC films, the CGI is terrible, and I just don't understand why these kind of big organizations cannot use CGI to its best capability, or why it looks so bad in some films, and some films it looks fantastic. Sorry.
Well, I just have a guess, because I obviously haven't worked on a Marvel film, but my guess is that before, like the original Spider-Mans and all that good stuff, and the Nolan films, the Batman, the Dark Knight films, I'm not sure maybe for the Spider-Man one, but we all know that Nolan is a practical effect guy. So that's why I like to say that the Dark Knight trilogy, first of all, were films and then superhero films. And now, from what I see from behind the scenes stuff, they CGI the bulge from the Spider-Man costume of the actor to not have a bulge. Like it's insane. And they have a whole team just to diminish his bulge to not be offensive for whatever. Like, what are we doing here? It's I think it's just overthinking. It's just like they have infinite budget, so they just maybe it's a fiscal thing. Like, if we don't spend it, they're not going to give us as much budget for the next one, so they just CGI everything. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense, and it tanked the industry. So we'll see.
Okay, fantastic. And just moving on to the last question now, what advice would you give to new filmmakers entering the industry?
Just use what you have, for sure. If you live near a forest, don't write New York style script. Just write work with what you have. That's many people try to force it, and they try to make sci-fi with no budget, for example. That's just never gonna look good to make to shoot laser guns. I was in film school, and a guy bought a bunch of airsoft stuff, and they were like, okay, we're doing a sci-fi. It doesn't look good, guys. Like, tailor your idea around what you have when it comes to budget, when it comes to the elements that you have, when it comes to the credibility. For example, I had problems with I have a scene in which I required full top nudity from my female actor. So without much credibility, without much experience, it was hard to find a female actor who can trust me, you know. So yeah, don't ask for the impossible. Again, try to recognize your position and be realistic. Work with what you have, especially if you can get it for free. Just yeah, that's the if you want to get started, and that's the thing. If you write the most amazing script but it has 30 locations and 20 actors, it's just gonna stay a script. That's the red. So just focus on you know, on what can you do.
Fantastic, excellent. Alex, thank you so much for joining. It's been an absolutely fantastic interview. Guys watching Sex Before Church Kickstarter, go and check that out. Alex, where can everyone find you?
On Instagram is our main social focus. Wild Freight Pictures on Instagram, and I'm sure gonna link it in the description and whatnot. And yeah, the Kickstarter is our main goal right now. We're directing everyone there. And yeah, everybody who wants to get in contact, I'm on Instagram. I'm also managing that, so send me a message. You can find my email there and everything. So yeah, also for sure, thanks for the opportunity to getting my face out there. This is like the first time, so yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming onto our show. I really appreciate it, and cannot wait for this film to land.
Sure,
Awesome.
we'll let you guys know. Yep.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Alex. Appreciate it.
Same. Bye.